And whose team is this? Is this your team? Or is this your daddy's team?
Thanks for listening to the Dad Mode Podcast, common sense parenting in a politically correct world. Here's your host, Andy Carlson.
Welcome back to the Dad Mode Podcast, common sense parenting in a politically correct world. I'm your host, Andy Carlson, at Andy Carlson Show on the Twitter machine. My father, I have no idea what I'm doing, but you either their chiefy, little buddy, champ. So let's try and learn something together today. The website is dadmodepod.com. The Twitter is at dadmodepod, or just use the hashtag dadmode, and we'll get at you today. Why do I do this? Why do I root for a team that hurts my face and hurts my soul so much? Of course, the Minnesota Vikings getting their ass kicked, NFC title game. Philadelphia Eagles 38-7, and it's just yet another chapter and verse of the Minnesota Vikings fandom. You could say hashtag Minnesota sports in general, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Chopped it up ad nauseum this week on, Purple for the Win, my Vikings show. And it was sad, but today we're going to talk about it from more of a kid's perspective. And it's just like, why do you burden your kids with just this terribleness? I don't know. But before we get started, something that's not burdensome is Picnic. Getting your entire family all on the same page calendar-wise, because there's nothing more frustrating than, little Timmy's got soccer practice, little Janie's got a violin lesson, and then also she has soccer practice, because apparently kids always play soccer here in America, even though it's not really sticking, but whatever. But how can Picnic help? Picniic. It's the best app, and here's what they do. They can sync calendars. They get everyone on the same page. And what's really important for me and the Carlson family is dinners. Family dinners, at least a couple nights a week. We all sit down, and especially when the kids get older, like sit your butt down, no devices, and talk about your day. They got meal planners. They have grocery lists. They have everything to keep you organized and really just makes things easier. Like, there's a lot less stress in the family when you're organized, and especially when you're cathartically sitting down talking about your day over delicious meals that they have in their menu planner as well. Go to picnic.com, picnic.com/get started, and use the promo code PODPIC, PODPIC. You get 30 days of their Picnic Premium free. Again, the URL, website to go to. Hit it up. Picnic.com/get started. PICNIIC, PodPic, 30 days, Picnic Premium. All right, so just the fandom, right? And I don't know. Like, kids are very much bandwagon fans. Like, they go with what's hot, and I think in some ways that's sort of healthy, where you have young kids, like in the past couple of years of the NFL, like they're big Seahawks fans or they're big Panthers fans when they had that one great year. Maybe some kids picked up on the Vikings. Maybe maybe not. I'm a little bit too close to the situation. I don't really know what, like kids in like Atlanta or North Carolina or Texas or whatever, what they latched onto, right? But like you see in the NBA too, like the Warriors get hot, and then all of a sudden every single kid under like 10 years old is wearing a Steph Curry jersey. Like, I get it. I think that's, maybe it stems off of the everyone gets a trophy generation, as we all like to blame. It's all the damn millennials. Or maybe it's you respect excellence. Maybe it's you respect winning. And kids do that. They enjoy winners. They gravitate towards winners. And I can see the rationale for that being healthy. Like, there's a lot of kids, I'm sure, that are Patriots fans, or baseball. I don't even know who's good in baseball anymore. The Cubs, yeah, sure. Now we got Cubs fans, but I mean, for me, growing up, there wasn't really much of a choice. Like, I had to be a Vikings, a Twins, to a degree a Wolves fan, and to a degree a North Stars fan, because and a Gophers fan, by the way. 5 winners right there. Because that's who my dad and my grandpa rooted for, right? And my dad is only a fan of those 5 because that's what he grew up with. And yeah, I always remember stories like my dad and my uncle Like my grandpa would take them to Met Stadium, watch a Vikings game, or wherever the Gophers. Where the hell did the Gophers play like way back in the day? It doesn't really matter, but they'll make a pilgrimage to go see the Vikings, and like they would always tell me about remember one day at the Met and we saw O.J. Simpson, the Juice, back before his things, and like those moments really make an impression, and I think it is a bonding thing, like going to a game and you're both cheering for the home team, and then your team wins, and it's cathartic, not cathartic, but it's euphoric, and it's nice. It's a nice little bonding moment, and I had that with my dad too. Like every year we would go to Vikings Packers, and it was really fun because we would get up early and we'd go down, we'd tailgate a little bit, and we'd hang out. We'd go to the game. We'd stop in someplace, get a burger, and then we'd come on home. And like that was, I think you can copy and paste that across a lot of strata, and just like watching games together, like every single family, like if you live within driving range, Sundays or games or Twins games or Wild games, whatever, you get together, you have some great food, you have some bonding time, you have a couple of cold ones, and that's, you may say you're scheduling your familial interaction around a sporting event, but you're still getting together. I mean, the result still remains the same. And honestly, I don't think, maybe you don't do that if like the dad is a Vikings fan, but the kid decided to be a Cowboys fan or a Niners fan just because they were hot in the 90s or 80s growing up. I don't know, but I'm not going to saddle my kid with fandom, especially just bad teams. I don't know what it is in Minnesota. And it's not the weather, because New York teams are great. Boston teams are great in the past 10 to 15 years. Maybe it is just standards. Maybe it is just that Minnesota, we don't have as high demands. We have a little bit more of the moral victories and all those things that go along with it. And maybe we're just permissive, because like Patriots fans would have zero tolerance for the NFC title game. What happened there? Yes, I know they're in the AFC, but don't be a smartass here. And I think Vikings fans, I think we're just fine with the Minneapolis Miracle. Like I'm actually a little bit bummed that my kid wasn't slightly older, because she's 2.5 now, and I would have loved for her to be 4, 5, 6, and then we could share that magic moment where Stephon Diggs reels off that 61-yard miracle finish touchdown reception. Or, I mean, heck, the Super Bowl is down here for Super Bowl 52. It would have been nice that the Vikings would have been there, except they're not, but whatever. But it still would have been awesome to take her down to the Super Bowl experience on Nicolay or down at the mall. They're doing a lot of things as well, but we can't. Alas, not, because she's not quite at the age where she would retain it, and I'm sure there'll be many other great moments coming up. Minnesota sports, many more heartbreaking losses, but maybe that's something that unites us as well. In that just all of the heartbreak, all of the despair. I feel like there is a bit of a gallows humor that develops around Vikings fans, but also I think a lot of people are able to separate sports from their life, except it does have some bleed over. And I feel like as a Vikings fan or a Minnesota sports fan in general, just always looking for the banana peel, always looking for the team to fail you. I don't know if that's a good like mental state to carry all the time, where you're always looking for the negative, or if things are going really, really well, you're just waiting for it to just be terrible. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm overthinking that one. But, I mean, it would be nice to share championships with the kid. And, since she is a girl, I mean, I would love for her to gravitate towards the Lynx, because they actually win things. Was it 4 titles in 5 years or something ridiculous like that? Yeah. It's the only team that can win in this market. And, just showing the kid how you can be a winner. Or investing some time and maybe a little bit of emotion, where sports is this happy little side thing for life, where sometimes life doesn't really go your way, whether you're struggling professionally or personally with some relationships, or you have some health issues. Sometimes sports can just be a healthy outlet. And, they talk about that a lot, like if there's natural tragedies or things that are going on, just to have that couple of hours where, you could switch your brain off. You could become tribal and root for the Jets or the Vikings or the Giants or the Cardinals or whoever the hell you want to do. I think there is something to that. But I don't know. Like, I'll let her be a free agent. Like, I think she'll probably be a Vikings fan because, the wife is a tangential Vikings fan. The in-laws are huge Vikings fans. I mean, Dad, sort of like a cottage second career / side hustle around the Vikings. So I think she'll be ingrained in that. But honestly, if she wants to pick a different team because she likes the players, or even something trivial like she likes the color of the jerseys, which some kids do, they certainly do, I'm fine with that. Like, I'm not going to just force her to be a Vikings fan. And I know that some parents do, and talked about earlier about how it is nice that you have that common moment, but I don't know. I don't see it as that big of a deal. But something that is big, hey, easy kicks, because kids are constantly wearing out their sneakers, and especially as their feet growing, they're hard on them. They run around, they play in the mud, they do all of the things that are just bad for like new shoes. And it does kind of get me, like when parents shell out like $50-$60 for like a brand new pair of kicks that the kid, they're going to ruin or dribble juice on, or they're just going to flat out outgrow. Nah. That's where Easy Kicks come in. They're title sponsor of the show. $20 a month. $20 a month per child. You have no limits on getting some brand new sneakers in the mail. Like no used sneakers. No, it's not like that. Brand new sneakers, as many times you want as a month for only $20. 20. And plus, they're official partner with Nike and Converse, and so you're getting stylish kicks for your kids, no matter what age. And new style released every single week. No catches, no hidden fees, and you can cancel anytime. And plus, here's what's great too, is that they take the used shoes and they donate them to a bunch of nonprofit partners, so they're not going to waste. And it's great. Whether they're wrecked, too small, whatever, send them back in the prepaid shipping envelopes. It's really revolutionized what we've done with Muggsy shoes. And I think it'll really benefit you as well, parents out there, because, let's get it done. Again, easykicks.com, easy, spell like easy, kicks.com/join now. And if you use the discount code EASY-LISTEN, the letters EASY-LISTEN, you get $5 off your first month in the club. And it's only $20 a month to begin with. So what do you have to lose? You got nothing. Try it out on us. easykicks.com/join now. EASY-LISTEN, easy, LISTEN is the code. All right, so we're good friends with Corey Eppola of Care 11 News, and he came out with it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, it's a little bit gallows humor article about dealing with Vikings Despair, and it was talking about how you explain it to your kids. Like, here's the article. So what do you say to your kids about the Vikings 38-7 dismantling? And he actually talked to Dr. Andrea Pothoff, licensed psychologist and the owner of Dendrios Psychology in Edina. So here's her quotes. Quote, "In any disappointment, there's a lot of opportunities then on how to talk to your kids about it." She says, first, let your child know it's normal to feel disappointed, angry, and surprised by the loss. Quote, "It's also a nice chance to really introduce emotion language to your child. So depending on their age and maturity, they might be able to say, I don't feel good today. I don't want to go to school, or I was upset when so-and-so was talking about the Eagles." But really giving them those emotion-focused language, like, I felt sad when that happened, or I felt angry, or I felt really disappointed. So using that language yourself, and then also helping your child label that too, said Dr. Pothoff. And yeah, I'm in with her on this. Like, we always go back and rail against the everyone gets a trophy world out there, and it doesn't expose kids to there is a winner and there is a loser. In almost every single athletic endeavor, someone wins, someone loses. That's one of the great things that we love about sports, right? It's finality, right? And except for soccer, when you can tie all the time. And like some of these kids, like whether it be in school or in sports, they just don't experience losing, and it does come from a place of love. And like as parents, yeah, you want to protect your kid from all these things, but once your kid gets out into the real world, life's going to kick their ass. Like they will lose. Like they will lose in relationships. They will lose at their job. They will lose in anything that they try to do. It's a part of life that you need. And once you lose, they need to learn that they can't go into the shell and be like, I can't. I totally can't handle this. I need a me day. I need some time off. No, when you lose, you pick your ass up. You pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You go back, kick ass, and make sure that you do everything you can so you don't lose again. And I mean, some reactions of some fans, like we saw the reaction videos and blah 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 of folks just getting really upset, and your kids are watching. Kids are watching all the time, and they'll take cues from you. So it's like, oh, if the Vikings lose in a big game, or our favorite team loses in big game XYZ, this is how you react, like a petulant child. So then the kid carries that with them, right? And that's a bad example, but also like when your kid's feeling sad or down in the dumps, like they're taking cues from you. And it is a good point time. Like if your kid is like really angry that the Vikings aren't going to the Super Bowl, it's a good time to sit them down and say, it's like, hey, it would have been nice if the Vikings made the Super Bowl. It would have been a lot of fun this week instead of having jabroni Eagle fans invade our great city. But also, it's just sports. I mean, does it really impact your day-to-day life? No, not really. Sports is a fun distraction. Like, does it affect how you interact with mommy and daddy? Does it affect how you interact with your friends? Does it interact how you actually feel in your day-to-day life? No, not really. And I think from a young age, if they have a healthy regard and are able to compartmentalize what sports is as opposed to what sports isn't, I think that's really smart. And, Dr. Potoff continues. She said, quote, "You also have the opportunity to really model for your child how to react to disappointments in life. So if they see you getting really upset about it, that sort of gives them the template for how we deal with those things." Yeah, end quote. Sorry, sorry, I jumped the shark there. So exactly it. So if your kids see you getting really pissed off and throwing things at the TV and swearing and cussing and overall just being like an emotional louse for the next couple of days because your team lost a game of sports ball, like they'll think there's like, yeah, that's what daddy does. That's what mommy does. So I'm going to do that too. And, I'm a big of Vikings fan as any, but don't get too high, don't get too low. Yeah, that's my saying of things. And Potoff also says, don't dismiss your child's feelings. Quote, "I would say meet your child where they're at. So they may be really into the game and wake up tomorrow thinking about something else. So if they're talking about that, great. Have that conversation. If they could care less about it, it's not something you need to be repeatedly bringing up to them," end quote. Yeah. And also, like, they'll encounter, they won't encounter Eagles fans like me on Twitter the past 2 weeks. Yeah, they're a piece of work, huh? But a great example would be Packers fans, because especially if they live in Minnesota or the great Twin Cities area, there's a lot of Packer fans here, because especially in the Twin Cities, because there's jobs and opportunity and culture that they don't have in Wisconsin. Bam, in your face. So Vikings-Packers rivalry, it's great. It is fun, and overall, the nasty level is not really there. It does really seem like you're arguing and debating with your brothers, right? But, I mean, kids at school, like, they'll be teasing. Like, they'll be a little savage. Like, I'm sure some savage little Vikings fans made fun of Packer fan friends when Aaron Rodgers got hurt, when Aaron Rodgers walked into a bar. Yeah. And it's something that they have to deal with, too. And kids, that's an opportunity as well for, be like, don't get too upset about it. Like, that's one of the great things about sports as well, is that it provides us a common thread to have conversation about things, but also it sort of allows kids to be kind of jackassy, which is kind of funny. Yeah. And you're going to deal with that. Like, if you go to a game, you're going to deal with jackass fans from the other side. If you're at work, you're going to have jackass fans from the other side. And that's part of the thing too. Like, you can give, you have to get as much as you give. Right. And like, you can't be like an emotional little butterfly about it. Like, yes, there's a clear line that can be crossed. Like, if it's like extremely vulgar or cursing or like everything like that, just completely over top. Sure. Like, you can dismiss that. But one of the fun things about sports is talking talking noise, talking junk, right? So teach your kid that, it's okay to, puff your chest a little bit, but also when you're humbled, you got to be prepared for when the other fan base is puffing their chest a little bit. As long as they're not going over the top like Philly fans and saying that they want to F a 99-year-old woman. But yeah, other than that, sports ball, a lot of fun. Sometimes it is not. And yeah, I think with the kids, it's a fun thing to share with them, but you don't have to press your values on them, and also be very wary about your reactions because they'll take cues from you. And sports ball, love it. Sometimes I don't. Yeah. But that's today's Dad Mode. Yeah. If you enjoy the show, tell a friend, spread the word. I get it out there when you're hanging out with your other dad friends or your mom friends or whatever friends. Do it up. Show's available on the iTunes and Stitcher and iHeartRadio. Give me a follow on Twitter at Andy Carlson Show, also on Snapchat and Instagram. And the show is at Dad Mode Pod on Twitter. Hit it up. And the website, dadmodepod.com. But till next time, be a man, be a father, go Dad Mode, and we'll smell you
Think
later.
the episode you just heard is worth $1? Well, send it our way. Visit dadmodepod.com/support to find out how. Be a man, be a father. Go Dad Mode. The music is created and produced by Deeb. To hear more of his tracks, visit soundcloud.com/Deeb.